On today's show, just how big of a loss is Ivica Zubac to this team, and how can the Clippers find a way to get wins without him? Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 21 years, been covering the team on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for 6, and 4 right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell to get us up to 8,000 subscribers before the end of 2025. We're about 117 subscribers away. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is also brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. All right, Clipper Nation, the unfortunate news came out that Ivica Zubac did sustain a grade 2 left ankle sprain and is expected to be sidelined for at least 3 weeks, which is very unfortunate, but we kind of were expecting something like that because Zoo's an Iron Man, and anytime he's not able to walk off his 2 feet freely off the court to the locker room, it's a little bit concerning, and he was limping pretty badly when he was headed there in that game against the Lakers. So going to be talking about just how big the loss of Ivica Zubac is, what that does for Brook Lopez, and the activation, I believe, of Yanic Konan Niederhauser that needs to happen now. So let's just state the obvious, right? This is a huge loss for the Clippers. I mean, top 3 player on the team consensus. His backup, Brook Lopez, has been one of the biggest disappointments about this roster this season, averaging 6 points a game to go along with 2 rebounds on 40.5% shooting, 37 from 3. He has not been able to protect the rim this year. He's not been rebounding. He just makes a 3 or 2 here and there, but everything else about his game is such a big downgrade from Ivica Zubac. And we have not done a good job of rebounding this season, and Ivica Zubac is obviously our leading rebounder by quite a significant amount. He averages 11 rebounds a game. The next highest number is Kawhi Leonard at 6. We have not done a good job of ending possessions this season. That's part of the reason why our defensive rating, which last year was 3rd in the NBA, this season, we're at 26th in the NBA, which has been probably the biggest disappointment about this season. If you want to talk about from a statistical perspective, is just last year we were one of the best defenses in the league, and it really made this team fun to root for because no matter what, even if teams made runs, even if we weren't hitting shots, we were able to stay in games. This season, that hasn't been the case. And I do put a little bit down to Ivica Zubac. I think there have been games where he doesn't look as engaged, as dominant around the basket, defensively. But I also think our point of attack defense hasn't been as good. And then, of course, the transition defense problem where second halves, we really, really lose our legs and do a poor job of getting back. New players have had some miscommunications frequently, like Beal when he was playing and John Collins. They're frequently at fault for those miscommunications in transition and in the half court. So I don't fully put it on Zoo, but I'll tell you this. Last year, we were #1 in the NBA in defensive rebounding percentage. And of course, Zoo was our leading rebounder last year. This season, we are 15th. So it's a big drop off. You're losing our best rebounder, our best rim protector. I'm scared of what these next couple of weeks could look like. We're talking about a team right now that's 7-21 as I'm recording this, and maybe by after I'm done, we're either 8-21 or 7-22, because I know some people will listen to this after the Rockets game. But we're in no position to be missing James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, or Ivica Zubac right now if the goal is to try to find a way to get back into that play-in conversation. Now, for me, everybody knows I'd rather have this thing blown up completely. I'm done with it. But if this is what the goal is for the franchise this season, is to get back in the play-in, this severely dampers that. Because if it's a Zubac, even if he has been a little disappointing this season, yeah, he has been inconsistent. He has had too many games where he doesn't get shots up, where he doesn't ask for the ball, where the team doesn't go through him enough. But also just games where he's been soft with the ball, where he's been not going up strong, where he hasn't been this dominant force on the glass and down low defensively. He's just been, this is the first season, in my opinion, where it feels like he's regressed, or if anything, stayed the same. But I don't even know if I'd say stayed the same, because he definitely was playing better last season. But maybe we just expect more of him now. And he's also being guarded differently. You know, teams are coming out, doubling him more. They know that he can, if he turns middle over that left shoulder when he's on that left block, it's over. But his numbers are down in every single category damn near from last season. He's averaging 0.8 less minutes. He's shooting 2% worse from the field. He is shooting better from the free throw line by 5%, from 66 to 71. He's averaging 1.5 less rebounds per game. He's averaging 0.2 less assists per game and 1.2 less points per game. So he's literally down in just about every category. So it's safe to say he has regressed. And we also don't have Norman Powell, but we do have Kawhi Leonard. That being said, yeah, it's still a huge loss. Like, we're really about to find out how important Zoo is for this team, because it's putting a guy in Brook Lopez in a situation where he's going to have to start now. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Ty Lue pulls a fast one and goes with John Collins at the 5 and starts Nico and then just goes big. Nico, John Collins, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Chris Dunn. Or he's going to go small. James Harden, Bogey, Chris Dunn, Kawhi, and John Collins, which would be insane to go with. I mean, it doesn't matter that it's 3 guards, because one of them can guard really well, but the other 2, Bogey and James Harden, that makes things a little bit sus. But we'll see what he does. Let's just say Brook Lopez does start. It gives us, you know what? Coming up, we'll talk about the advantages that Brook Lopez gives us and how crucial this stretch is for him. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. All right. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Every Dayer Club. You get access to an ad-free audio feed for Locked On Clippers, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. And in addition to that, you get an invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of this show. And I'll maybe jump in there a little bit, see what you guys are saying, talk a little bit to the listeners. That would be cool to open up that line of communication with you, the fans and the listeners of Locked On Clippers, my good people over at Clipper Nation all over the world. And where can you go to find that? Well, lockedonclippers.supercast.com. That's lockedonclippers.supercast.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Clipper Nation, unfortunately, we do not have Ivica Zubac for the next 3 weeks. So we're going to probably see a lot more small ball John Collins at the 5 kind of stuff, but we're going to have to see more Brook Lopez. And here's the one way it could really help us. 3-point volume and maybe a greater, more space, more 5-out kind of stuff. Might open it up for James and Kawhi a little bit more. Brook Lopez is a pick and pop big primarily. That's part of the disadvantage with him again versus Ivica Zubac, whereas because Zubac is around the paint, getting you buckets, paint points, offensive rebounds. Brook Lopez is not really doing that. He's not even giving you defensive rebounds, which really scares me. But he gives you a 3-point shooting threat, and we have consistently not shot better than teams from 3, and we're shooting a lot less threes than other teams. With Brook Lopez, we're going to get more threes up. We're going to get more situations where he's picking and popping, so the defense needs to make a decision. If they're in drop coverage, they're leaving him wide open for 3. If they're switching, they're putting a bigger guy on James Harden that he'll be able to blow by. Now, if he starts making threes, that's what will really open it up, because then teams won't be sagging off of him as much, won't be helping off of him as much, and James Harden and Kawhi Leonard and Bogey will have more room to operate. But he needs to make threes. He's shooting 37% from 3. My issue with Brook Lopez that scares me, however, and it's kind of the same thing with Nico, is when teams run them off the line and they pump fake, they'll very seldom dribble in. Instead, they'll try to still take the 3, but the defender who just jumped is back in the rear view. And that's because of age. They're not trying to get downhill. It's a different kind of shot if they do that. But I did see one time in that last win over the Lakers where Brook Lopez actually attacked the closeout and shot a floater and hit it, and it was a big shot. So if he can do more of that, that will really open things up for him and our offense. But Brook Lopez, we do need some more threes. I'm going to be honest with you. We do really need some more threes. Because right now, let's see where we're ranked in 3-point attempts. 20th. So it can't really hurt right now. And 3-point percentage-wise, we're 18th. It really feels, though, that we get outshot in every individual game because we've had some teams that have just shot outlier from 3 against us. For example, Dallas. Dallas is a bad 3-point shooting team. But against us, Klay Thompson just went ballistic that game. So just our look. New Orleans. Not a great 3-point shooting team. They got hot in the game against us. But anyway. So this is going to be huge for Brook Lopez. He's been borderline unplayable this season. For those that don't know, he was taken out of the rotation at one point and just recently kind of got put back in. But Brook Lopez has to rebound. That's the thing that really needs to change from him, because otherwise he's not going to be able to play. We're losing our best rebounder. Of course, everyone else now has to do a better job on the glass, but he just needs to be better. He just needs to be better. So I got my faith in him. By the way, this is the worst that Brook Lopez has shot from the field in his entire career. He's never shot below 43.5%. If he can make some threes, though, he's shooting 37% from 3, which is technically the exact same he shot last year. But he shot 1.1 more attempts per game last year. 4.7 last year, 3.6 this year. So let's see. He does sometimes have moments of good rim protection, but it's not very reliable. He's just slow-footed, and I'm really worried about the transition element. So then the John Collins at the 5 stuff. JC at the 5, it's just a little small, and he's not done a good enough job on the glass for me as well. That's what really scares me. People just got to box out. A lot would be fixed if people just box out, but it's too much to ask of modern NBA players. I'm being sarcastic, obviously, but it is somehow. It's just not an emphasis in any level of basketball anymore in America. I can't speak for overseas, but in America, it's not an emphasis, rebounding, at all. College basketball, maybe, but Anyway, with the John Collins stuff, yeah, I mean, it gives us lineup versatility in terms of being able to switch everything. However, those guys like the Hardens and the Bogies, they're going to get targeted. So it's going to be up to them if they can stay in front. If we have good, see, the thing is in 2021, when we did a lot of that small ball stuff, we had lineups where we had 4 good defenders and maybe 1 bad defender. And that would be like Reggie Jackson. We can get away with that. But this 2 bad defender stuff where they can kind of just pick their poison, Harden or Bogey, like that stuff is just, you can't switch everything, because if you're getting beat off the dribble and you don't have a big rim protector, then that's nothing. What's the advantage? The advantage of going small is you can switch everything and stay in front of the ball. And right now we don't have the defensive personnel to put good 1 through 5 switch everything lineups in. So I think John Collins, I don't see like John Collins playing drop or hedging on the ball screens. So then a 6'6" guy is rotating at the rim. I just don't see that. So we'll see. I think that's going to be something that's very interesting to pay attention to. What kind of defensive strategies and coverages is Ty Lue going to run if John Collins is playing the 5? But coming up, the one, in my opinion, silver lining that we could get from this injury, if the coaching staff does it. Going to be talking about that coming up. Nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your personal record, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All right, Clipper Nation. Clippers are 7-21 on the season. It's been a season straight out of hell, and it's continued to get darker with this Ivica Zubac injury. Now, is this something that we haven't seen before? No. We've seen Clippers seasons go to absolute-ish over the years when it comes to injuries. It's just been so bad even when guys have been healthy this season, and so disappointing even when a lot of our guys have been healthy this season, that it's been just, injuries on top of that have just been a disaster. And it's been different guys getting injured at different times, and then a couple offseason signings just not working out the way that we expected it to work out. And it's just altogether, it's created this 7-21 avalanche through 28 games. But there's still a lot of NBA basketball left to be played on the season. And, even though we're about 4.5 games behind the 10th seed, we're not completely out of it. We're not completely out of it. There's a lot of time left. But this Ivica Zubac injury period is going to be difficult. Now, the one silver lining that I think could be, or one silver lining that I think we can get. Man, I'm sorry. I am not on my A game in terms of speaking words today. Sorry. Yanic Konan Niederhauser. Yanic Konan Niederhauser getting inserted into the rotation and getting actual minutes. This would be awesome, in my opinion. Because, again, do I know if Yanic's NBA ready? No, not necessarily. Do I think he has enough potential to get a chance? Absolutely. Do I think he's the rotation piece as a backup center for a win-now team? I'm not sure. But it would be nice to find out. And even if he's not, it would just be a better glimpse of how good he can potentially be. And I just love the stuff that I've seen from Yanic so far in Summer League and in the preseason. The guy has a great vertical. You can throw passes to the sky with him. Not necessarily like DeAndre Jordan level, but probably since DeAndre, he seems, and obviously Blake, he seems to get the highest on these lobs. So it's nice to have a great vertical threat again. And rim runner, he's very athletic and lanky. Running the floor, if we just throw it up to him and he beats guys down the court, he then gives us an element of, oh, wow, we have a big that's actually going to beat guys down the court. Because Zoo and Lopez do not beat guys down the court. So that would be great. Gives us a transition element. But see, I don't know if this team is ready for transition. Like Kawhi and Harden, they want to play methodical. They want to play slow. But just seeing that, though, would be nice. And then the shot blocking aspect. He really can block shots. And the part that I did not think he had coming out of Penn State, because I didn't watch his games over there, but I started to see glimpses of it, he can kind of shoot. Like, he has really nice shooting mechanics. He has a nice follow-through, good form. If he can shoot in addition to that vertical threat stuff I was talking about and blocking shots, he's going to be an NBA player and a good one. And so it would be really nice to see him injected into the rotation. Because for all we know, between Cam Christie, Jordan Miller, Kobe Brown, Kobe Sanders, and him, he might be the best NBA player of them all long term. He might just be. So this is a perfect opportunity to give him some burn. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not convinced that he can't be more impactful than Brook Lopez already. A lot of fans have been saying we should play Yanic when Brook Lopez when he got taken out of the rotation. And I honestly don't disagree with those claims. I mean, for me, I just want to see us play the younger guys. I just want to transition into that era. However, I know we can't fully transition into that era with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden on the team. So the best we can do is see if they can, break in when they can and potentially, break in when they can and show if they're able to impact this current rotation as it stands. But I don't think that's an easy task for players that, it's not like they're lottery picks, you know what I mean? That they're NBA players. These guys are the kind of guys where they have to prove that they're NBA players. And proving that you're an NBA player is not very easy on a win-now team because you have to be allowed to make your mistakes and learn the speed of the game and the talent level that you're playing against. So we'll see. We will see. Yanic has been injured recently, but I heard he is active for the game against the Houston Rockets. So we will see if he gets any minutes. We're going to definitely need it. They're the best rebounding team in the league. They crashed the offensive glass. They'll play two big lineups with Steven Adams and Şengün. And then, of course, Jabari Smith Jr. and Kevin Durant are tall as hell. But yeah, that is what I think. I mean, look, it's not going to be easy without Zoo. I'm not going to lie to you, Clipper Nation. I just hope we can do okay. I just hope we can do okay. I don't know what else to say. It's not ideal. Is Brook Lopez going to turn back the clock and have a great stretch of basketball now that he's a starter? I would not bet on it. I obviously would love that, but I would not bet on it. Nothing that I've seen this season makes me think that will be the case. It's a lot of pressure for Brook Lopez, but then that's where the Yanic thing comes in, where we really need to give him a chance here. And then the JC at the 5 is inevitable. We're also, I didn't even talk about this, but we're probably going to go with lineups with Nico at the 5. Nico, Kawhi, and then, maybe Kobe Sanders and a couple of guys. That in 2026 does not make me feel confident at all. But I wouldn't put it past Ty Lue to throw out lineups like that with Nico at the 5 and Kawhi with him. It's not a great situation. I mean, it's one of the 3 players that I honestly think we're more accustomed to playing without Kawhi than we are playing without Zoo. Zoo has just been so integral because we haven't had a good enough backup since Hartenstein, who, by the way, Lawrence Frank caved to the demands of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and got a point guard, John Wall, and let Hartenstein walk. Now, do I think Hartenstein would still be on the team after all these years? Probably not. He would have gotten a good payday somewhere. But, man, in 2023, how he could have changed that season. He could have changed that season so much. Would have never had to get Mason Plumlee. But anyway, can only move forward. Interested to see what the atmosphere looks like against the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant coming to town in his millionth jersey that he's worn throughout his career. Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün. We did a good job against them on the road. We just kind of ran out of gas. But that was with Zoo. So we'll see how it goes. Derrick Jones Jr. apparently is back in practice. He's starting to participate, so it should be a matter of time. Shouldn't be that much longer before he is back into your lineup, Clipper Nation. So, or in our lineup, that would be really nice to get Derek back. And maybe, just maybe, with a healthy Derek and Chris Dunn, we can become a decent defensive team again, because we've started to play better defense the last couple of games. But I'm trying to see us get back to, at least top 20 in defensive rating. You know what I'm saying? So rebounding is going to be a big part of that. So we'll see what we get from Brook Lopez, John Collins, and everybody now that our number one rebounder is out. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where a vlog of the Rockets game will be posted. And I also released a vlog of the Laker game. Check out what fans were saying after the game. Some of them a lot more, I don't want to say negative, but just not moved after a Clipper-Laker win than you would expect Clipper Nation to be, because that's a win that a lot of Clipper fans relish getting. And of course, Locked On Clippers. We're about 117 subscribers away from 8,000. Let's get to that number before the end of 2025. Hit the notification bell so you know every single time a video is posted. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. This is a podcast first and foremost. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.